Hello and welcome, my name is ElSkipper and today we are going to do a quick tutorial about the space engineers. And this is a quick tutorial on how to do stuff in it, how to become the space engineer. Let's begin. Okay, so the first tip is to start a new game, and if you'd like to play with the planets, with the whole solar system, you should enter a custom game and then choose not the Earth planet. On the bottom you have a star system, and this is the place where you'd like to go, where you have your planets, when you have the whole solar system with like the Earth-like planet, with a moon, with a Mars. But we are looking at it with a view of somebody who doesn't know how to play. So we basically would like to go with learning to survive. This is a scenario which was created by the producers of the game, by the King Software, and this scenario should help you understand the basics of the game, how to play. You basically know how to move, you do it with WSAD, how to use a jetpack, how to travel. So this is the learning to survive scenario. You basically have these panels, these bottom panels, and you have a task. You basically press F to start a task, and then you do it. The good bot, as you can see in the top left corner, will say you how to do. Will tell you how to do this task. And for example, right now we took a loss of 50 HP, and it's telling us that we can recover our HP in a survival kit. This is a very good scenario if you don't want to watch the video, for example, if you want to learn the game by playing it. But if you are interested in knowing how to become a space engineer, I recommend you to watch. So, you would like to become a space engineer and you want to try a star system. So let's go quickly by options that we have while trying to choose a star system. Basically, we can choose a name, description for our world. It's nothing too fancy. We can also choose a game mode. Creative is, as it says in the description, you have unlimited resources, you have insta-building, there is no death, no pain. You have unlimited jetpack. Enemies can also spawn in this, but you can turn it off. And next you are selecting the online mode, so you basically can play offline where you are playing by yourself. It's a single player. You can set the world to be private, so only people that you invite to the world can join you. You can set it to friends, so friends from your Steam list, friends Steam list can join you, and you can also set to public, so other people from around the world can join you. The next option is max players, so if you set it to private, you can set how many players can join you. You can set from 2 up to 16 people. Next you have autosaves, so you can turn them off. And then you have mods and advanced. So in the mods we can find, yes, the mods. You can download them from the Steam Workshop. I totally recommend you check it out. There are lots of nice mods that you can use, and I will also try to do a few videos about selected few which I really like. And the last option is advanced, and this is where the juicy part is. So for example, you play this game and you don't like the inventory size, you can change it. You can change it up to ×10, or you can change it to realistic. You can set everything in here. You can change it whatever you want. You want the sound mode to be realistic. So for example, if you have your helmet closed down, the sounds sound differently, like you're having a helmet on your head. So I totally recommend you have fun with it. Some of these options that are worth mentioning is total PCU. It basically means how many blocks can you put down in the game, because if you don't change it, you may run out of blocks. So basically every block has some value in the PCU. For example, light armor block have 1, I think, or 2, and bigger stuff have more value in this. So you can change it to be unlimited, but be careful with it, because if you have a lot of stuff in your world, it may start to lag a bit. You also have a pretty good thing which is called in-game scripts, and I totally recommend you to turn it on. You have permadeath, you can turn on spiders and wolves, which are the enemies that spawn on the planets. So friendly missile damage. I totally recommend you to tinker with it a bit and find the settings that you will fancy playing with. So after starting a game in the space system, we have few options. We can choose where we would like to drop. We have many different options, and with some mods change our options. But currently we are playing fully vanilla style game. So we have a moon drop, which will spawn us on the moon, as we can see in the background. We can spawn on the Earth, or Earth-like planet, Alien, Titan, Mars, Europa, Triton, Partum. And we can also spawn in the space pod, which looks like this. And we can spawn just in a spacesuit without anything, which is the hardest. But for the beginning, I would totally recommend you to spawn on the Earth-like drop pod, because it's the easiest planet to start. You have a solar panel, you have wind power, and I feel like it's a very great start option. So after clicking respawn and selecting our desirable planet, we will respawn in this respawn pod, which unfortunately for me respawned on not on the flat surface. So we unfortunately dropped down like this, and now it looks kind of like this. So it's not a very good thing. We can enter it and try to move. No, we cannot. So what is the next step? What should we do? Well, the respawn pod is a pretty good thing because you have some stuff in it. You have some ice, you have some hydrogen bottles, and you definitely should try to access it. So what does this thing do? Basically, if you look at the left corner, left down corner, you can see some stats. So we have our health, we have O2, which is oxygen, we have our power, and we have H2, which is hydrogen. So we basically need O2 to live, we need energy to also live and do stuff, for example, weld and grind and drill, and we need hydrogen to fly. Yes, fly. So right next to the toolbar, we can see how big is the gravity in the certain place. The A stands for artificial gravity, which we can find using the gravity generator on, for example, in space where there is no other gravity, so it is kind of useful. And the P, it stands for planet gravity, and you basically, it is saying how big the gravity is in the certain places. Of course, the higher you go, the less of the gravity the planet has on you. So what should be our next step? Well, definitely not to flip down. We definitely should have a look. Take a drill, find some stone, preferably not the dirt because it has less stone in it, and to mine. Yes, to mine. When you mine, you drop some little stone things. You can press F to pick them up. And after mining for some bit, we can try to find our survival kit, put a stone in it, go into the production, and queue a lot of ingots. What is happening right now? Well, basically the stone that we just got from the Earth-like planet, it is going to be processed into iron, nickel, and silicon, and also gravel. Gravel is mostly useless. We mostly, at the beginning, care about iron, which is for iron plates, yes. Well, you might be wondering, what is our next step after getting some stone and mining and getting some iron? Well, basically you go to production, you add some steel plates. By pressing Ctrl, you can add 10 of those, and by pressing Shift, you can add 100 of those, and by pressing Ctrl and Shift, you can add 1000, which is pretty useful in the middle and late game. So, we have few steel plates. You need to put a block down. By pressing R, you can change the size of it. So you have a big grid, and you have a small grid. For example, our ship is a small grid ship, and the small light armor block costs only 1 iron steel plate, and the light armor block in a big grid costs 25. You set up a small little place where you will put your basic assembler, and your basic refinery. You want to put your basic assembler with the door. As you can see, it has something yellow in it, and this is basically like a type of a door, which from which you can take your items, and if two things with the doors are connected with each other, you can only press one of them to get stuff from the other. So I will show you what I mean. So we have our basic assembler, which, as you can remember, has a door from this side, and then we want to put our basic refinery, which you have at a 6, and it has two of these doors. You have one on the front and one in the back, and basically if you put it like this, when the door from the back touches the door from the basic assembler, you can access basic assembler by pressing door on the basic refinery. But how do you power it? Well, this is another question. You press X to use your jetpack, and be careful, you need your dampers on. You put them on by pressing Z. It basically means it will try to stabilize you and not make you fall down, because if we turn them off, as you can see, we are falling down. I would have to manually add power to move in different directions, but with dampers on, I don't have to. The game does it for me. So we go a few blocks high, and we need an interior plate. Why do we need interior plates? Well, I will show you. But interior plate is enough for now, because we like to put the wind turbine in here. And this is our basic setup. This will give you access to some energy. This will give you access to refinery, which can process your ores and your stone, because the survival kit that you start with cannot process ore. So if you find the iron ore, for example, or a silver ore, you cannot process it with the survival kit. It can only process stone, so you need a refinery to do this stuff. So this will be your basic beginning. After I'm done with this, I will come back to you. As you can see, I am done, and we have our wind turbine, which if you'd like to check how much energy it's producing, we can click on this small panel, and we can select the wind turbine, and we can see it current output is 1 kilowatt, with a max of being 400, and the wind clearance is optimal. So we have our wind turbine, which will be producing energy, and now we can go and start building our base. We can build it somewhere here, we can move. A very good starting tip is to do some drilling vehicles, or a simple drill that will dig into the ground. Why is this important? Because we need a lot of steel plates. When you want to build one big light armor block, you need 25 steel plates. It's a lot in the early game. Let's be honest, let's be real with ourselves, it's a lot. And going by hand and doing it is not a very optimal way to do it. Oh, and we have a knight. So I totally recommend you to build some vehicle that can dig. I recommend you to build even a simple drill and just hook it up to your base and drill by using it, by putting a piston. So this is a quick tips on how to become a space engineer. This is the first video. I hope you liked it. I will come up with the next one, how to build a vehicle, how to build a drill, and other stuff, but I wanted it to be a short format video, so I hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next one.